Welcome to this episode of Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess. I'm Eric.
And I'm Angie.
We are married with a ton of kids.
We have 6 kids total. He has 3 and I have 3.
My name's Hallie and I love riding horses.
My name's Lexi and I've always been the most responsible.
My name's Carter and I like picking on my siblings.
My name's Chase and I love a clean truck.
My name's Summer and I still like to spend my parents' money.
My name's Dane and I love baseball.
And around here, we talk about the real stuff. Parenting, marriage, faith.
Along with grief, growth, second chances, and blended family life.
And all the in-between moments that don't make it to Instagram.
Our podcast is for the couples figuring it out, the parents trying their best, and the ones holding faith and heartbreak in the same hand.
Look, we don't have it all together.
Not even close.
But we do have honesty.
And a whole lot of grace.
This is Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess.
Let's get into it.
This episode is brought to you by Sevens Boutique, an online shop created by 2 sisters, Angie and Jess, who believe you should walk boldly, dress divinely, and know your significance. At Sevens, you'll find easygoing pieces that are cozy, classy, and made to mix and match. Think relaxed pants, cozy sweaters, and lifestyle sets you'll want to live in. Every item is handpicked with purpose, so you can shop confidently, dress comfortably, and walk boldly. Inventory is small and curated, so if you see something you love, don't wait. Visit sevensboutique.com and use the code PODCAST10 for 10% off your first order. www.sevensboutique.com. Walk boldly, dress divinely, know your significance.
Well, if you're a longtime listener, you may have noticed something different in this episode. That is a new intro. And love it, and love the fact that it's kind of reminding me of like growing up and watching like Growing Pains or Full House or whatever when the kids would get older and you'd have to like update the music intro to the opening of the show. And so we were able to do that a couple of weeks ago with the kids.
It was so easy too. It was
not easy.
So easy to get them together and get them to act like they're excited. I mean, we've probably been talking about this for a year, that we need to change their voices. They've all changed. They have different interests, but to get them all together in one spot with time to go and do the recording was something. And then it was on the day that we had Eric's workout for his birthday. And I think we mentioned last week on the podcast that a couple of the kiddos were not feeling great because it was self-inflicted. So then now let's get together 3 of the kids that are tired, one that's once, mama trying to herd the cats, and get them all together to try to sound like they're excited about doing this when they were recording their voices. It was
a shit show. Let's just call it what it was.
There you go.
That's what it was. It was a shit show, but hopefully...
So you might be able to tell in their voices if they're annoyed. They didn't really want to be there. All of that, but kids are precious. Love them. Love them so much.
If during this episode I pass out, I apologize. Not intentional. Trying not to breathe much these days. You know how it is when you've been with your partner for a while, you start to notice a tick that they have. Well, my wife has pointed out that when I'm breathing, apparently I make a noise. And so she loves to point it out now. And now I'm self-conscious and trying not to breathe. So I'm basically just like, I never feel like I'm in real rhythm of breathing because I don't want her to be like... And then I'm like, oh God, I'm doing it again. Well, I don't even know that I'm doing it.
It's when you're concentrating, like if you're really locked in on something, he does this little, like it's kind of like hard for him to let the breath out because he's so locked in. So
now I'm trying to just not breathe is where we're at. And so if all of a sudden you hear like a thud, I've passed out.
So drama.
No, I'm really, you know how it is when somebody points out a flaw, I guess, then you're like focused on like, oh God, I can't do that.
It's a story you're telling yourself. I never said it was a flaw.
Well, you're not over there like, whenever you do that, I love it so much.
Well, there's not a good or bad.
When you go, no, you just start making fun of it. You're like, do you ever notice that you're like,
I didn't say it was bad.
And all of a sudden I do notice it now and I just can't breathe.
I didn't say it was good or bad. Just pointed out that whenever you're concentrating and you just tank.
Ladies know whenever you point it out, they're not stupid. We all know when you point it out, you felt a need for some reason. So now it's like, all right, Just be over here not breathing.
So funny.
So this week we're working on the different shift in energy in 2026 in the Bremer Phillips household. And some of that is when you don't breathe. It makes it, you just really shift the energy.
It's better.
Yeah, that's where it's at.
No, I mentioned this last week on our podcast that we were going to dive into kind of a checkpoint on where we are with our 2026 goals. And mine was to not have a goal. And now we're like mid-February and it's kind of like, okay, where are we? Because 2025 was not good on just my overarching health mindset, all of that. It was a grind every day. And so I knew 2026 had to be something different. I just had to be softer on myself, slow the F down and not have a lot of goals and just try to be. But I'm terrible at that. I'm terrible at it.
Well, we're both bad at just being. Yeah. We got massages today and I was trying. I was proud of myself. I, for the most part, left my phone alone for the better part of 3 hours this afternoon, which is almost unheard of.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, it was good, but we don't do that well. That's why when we want to take time off, we actually go places, because if we're around our house, we'll be like, well, we should reorganize that, or we should clean out the garage, or we should go buy this, put it together. I don't know.
Yeah. So we knew we really had to kind of lock in on that. Sorry,
I had to get that out. I have not been breathing for the last few minutes. That was really hard.
Oh, it's so kind of you.
Okay, sorry. I apologize for interrupting. Yeah. That was getting tough over here.
Yeah. It's going to be a long podcast.
It's really tough. All right. I'm sorry.
What would you like to say tonight?
Nothing. You're up.
I have been up. I have been doing all the talking while you're over there.
Trying not to breathe too loud.
Yeah.
I know.
It's not that you're breathing loud. It's because you just go.
Yeah, see, you're making fun of it. You're trying to be like, I didn't say it was good or bad. You're making fun of it. So, what are we over here? I feel like
Let's get through the podcast. Focus.
Okay.
Focus.
I can only breathe easily when I'm in a separate room now. That's what I've learned. I'm in the car by myself.
Maybe that's the plan.
Okay. No, you said that you were going to live this different kind of 2026, which I think was great because I could tell in 2025, you know how like a top gets wound up and then you have to release it? It was like you just kept getting more and more wound. And so it feels like being soft would be a good thing. Full transparency, I didn't really know what that meant when you said it out loud. I was like, what do you mean? We're gonna sit around, eat a bunch of cake and get soft? I didn't know. No. It wasn't that. So
no, I think for me, it's just internally not hard on myself, like letting myself relax, just the overarching like health, mind, and body to release the shoulders, relax the jaw, like not be tense, just sort of be in whatever point of my life that I'm in, whether it's good or bad, to just be okay with whatever is going on. And I think sometimes when people talk about that, of being soft, to slow down, if you're wired like I am in a lot of ways, you feel like that maybe means lazy, but it actually just means being more intentional with the time that you have. So I'm not spending my time wound up like a top.
You're looking at me like that's a bad thing that I say. You asked me what I saw. I was trying to breathe over here. I don't know what's going on right now.
It's going to be a long night.
So I feel like you're making good progress to start. I did not have that goal. Mine was more to be intentional in going to next steps of what I'm trying to do.
How do you think you're doing?
I think I'm doing, knock on wood, a good job of trying to be focused on how to continually be better, how to continually show up for you and the kids every day, how to show up for new people in my life, and to try to bring other men to Jesus, which I think is what matters the most. And I've been thinking about that a lot because it does give me good purpose. I feel like 44 was a year where I was trying to figure out where I was really finally wanting to go in life. And now, while I don't 100% have that figured out at 45, I at least feel like I am finally have some purpose in that. I know that I love the way Jesus has opened my eyes to a lot of things. And I really want to continue to help other men grow in their faith, and our kids and you and any of our listeners. I think it's just, that's the most important thing we can do on earth.
Yeah. So there has been some things that we've done since we set that goal. So we can just dive into that now. But one of the things that we did was actually a big purchase. It wasn't part of our goal at the beginning of the year, but we've been talking about this for a little while. And then when we were out of town right after Christmas for a couple of days, we ended up sitting in a full spectrum infrared sauna. And I think what the selling point for me on it was I sat in it and I was super relaxed enough to like doze off when it's hot.
She doesn't really do the dozing off.
No, I don't fall asleep quick. I don't ever just fully relax like that in order to fall asleep. And I'm like, oh my God, we got out of that. And that was amazing.
I wanted a sauna when we moved into this house 6 years ago. I thought we could put one in storage, but then we just never made the purchase. Now, I did not think we would go to the lengths or extent of the infrared light sauna that we got because, you know me, I'm always like, we can find one somewhere in the middle.
Tight.
Yeah, I squeak when I walk. And then my wife was like, no, let's get the very best one they make. And the good news is it's really
expensive.
Good. It's really good. I mean, it's a great purchase.
Well, and honestly, I had not dug into the value of full spectrum infrared sauna. Like I knew of red light therapy, but I did not know of the full spectrum. So there's a ton of health benefits around it. But like for me, taking that time to force myself to sit and kind of just be, but also like obviously with benefits too. So I love the aspect of cooking my insides.
Yes, you've always loved that.
Heat. I like heat, but I didn't like the saunas I sat in before because they were more wet saunas, I feel like. This one's just a different sort of heat. You know, I do get on my phone sometimes though, because it is time to just like, sometimes I'll brain rot. Is that what the kids call it?
The kids are calling it these
days. Brain rot a little bit, but just feeling that heat and being present is like, it is so good for me to sit for a second and not have to be doing a bunch of things.
I enjoy when I get to do it first thing in the morning and I take my devotionals down there and I can just sit in there and it's quiet and it's warm and you just read your devotionals and I pray and that's really nice. And it's a great sign on the fact that you can schedule it to start heating up 30 minutes, like the night before we could set it to start heating tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So if you want to get in at 6:30, it's hot and ready to go. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And there's, if you're thinking about it, there's all different kinds out there. You can get them on Amazon. You can go through, the manufacturer, all things, but it's definitely improves circulation. It detoxes you through the sweat. It helps reduce inflammation, muscle recovery, improve sleep, cardiovascular health, reduces stress and cortisol levels, because I feel like the last couple of years, mine have been all over the freaking place.
My trainer was telling me that whenever we're in the sun, we get this heat protein. It's what the vitamin D does, this heat protein to our body, but it's to help fight the sun from like sunburn and things like that. So it's kind of working against each other. And Michael was telling me that like the great thing about the infrared sauna is that it's creating that heat protein, but it's not having it then fight off the effects of the sun. So it's actually really good for your skin and muscles in that regard. And I think too, like what I have been finding, especially over the last year and a half, is that the more quiet I can find, the closer I can get to Jesus. There's a lot of writing that says like the devil tries to get to us in the noise. Being able to sit in the sauna, especially if you leave your phone outside, you can just sit in the quiet and you can just invite Jesus into your heart. And so I've mentioned often my friend Dave Cover's podcast, A Bigger Life, that is a Christian meditation. And he talks in there a lot about how we're just souls in a human body. And these souls are going to go back to be with Jesus. And so I try to use that quiet time to just think about my soul and try to make it so that it will find ways to connect with Jesus. And I do think that quiet time in the sauna is helpful in that regard.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like we're both like less restless. There's just a little bit of peace even when you step out of it, and you've got that cooler air coming in, it just feels good. And then something else that I started after the first of the year is Pilates. I had not I've not ever done Pilates. Summer actually was the one that was like, Mom, we should go do a Pilates class together. I'm like, I didn't even know what I was getting into. But a place had opened up called Reform Pilates right down the street from us. So her and I had that first experience together, and we both loved it. It's kind of like a love-hate, I would say.
Because sometimes you come out there and you're like, oh, and sometimes you're like, ooh.
Oh my gosh. Well, I do Jen's Get Fit every day throughout the week, but then there's times where you just kind of want to switch it up a little bit. And so a couple times a month, I will do Pilates. And it's weird because how I would describe it is it's 50 minutes. It's kind of like a quiet, soft workout, but it's really hard. Like it's low key. So it's not like you're, out of breath and you're dying and you're lifting all these weights. And
yes, I get it.
I know that breathing. But the reason why I think it's so good for me is I've had vertigo, I don't know how many times.
Yes.
And
it started in 2020. In 2019, 2020, we know that right after we started dating.
And it jacks with your balance. And even like, I feel like one side of my body is better, stronger than the other side, but also with movements, I feel like sometimes my brain, it doesn't connect to what's supposed to move, but it's just weird. Like it just completely has jacked up my balance and turned my head a certain way. And then I feel a little dizzy. And this has just been good for my balance and my core and just sort of that stability. But it is hard for me to do it.
I think, I went to one class. She took me to a couples class that they had over a month ago, and I enjoyed it. It was difficult. So, I think it's fair to say it's not easy doing Pilates. This is on the reformer machine. I guess there's different kinds. And I thought it was tough. Yes, was it a fast-paced workout? No, it was a deliberate workout, and it was a workout. It was difficult.
I just think I'm going to be 49 years old.
So hot.
God, what in the world?
Look how gorgeous she is, right? Just over here cheerleading.
But I just feel like as we get older, it's just good to have that balance training and kind of pushing yourself out of your damn comfort zone. But it's kind of more about alignment, which again kind of ties back into being softer this year on myself and making sure that I'm carving out time to challenge myself, to build stability and just kind of strengthen. Also, I don't have my phone for an hour. You put your phone down, and it's a small group of women. Yeah, that has been good. That is something I will stick to. Eric's excited because it's not cheap.
Anywho, moving on. She also we went up to Angie's best friend Amber's house New Year's Eve, I think it was.
Yeah.
And Amber had all this fresh juice because she had bought a juicer, I guess, at Christmas or gotten one. And it was amazing. And I immediately knew within a week we would have a juicer in our house. Now, that did not happen. I agree. You did good. And she waited till around the 1st of February. And she was like, do you mind if I get a juicer?
Which I never ask either.
She really doesn't. And I really got to say, it's one of those things where I really appreciate it when she does. Because, we're supposed to be married. And so it's nice when I'm included in a decision. And so in this case, I was like, I appreciate you asking. And I know how much you enjoy the juice. And so let's do it. And so we've been juicing.
I love it because my base is always a bunch of carrots. So I just naturally love carrot juice, not plain.
I do not naturally, but
I like it mixed with other things. But it's apples and pineapple and cucumber and oranges and blueberries and carrots.
The kids have loved it.
Yeah. And I made a huge batch the other day and sent some with my mom and dad. And it's just, you're just putting in natural vitamins and antioxidants and just better for your immune system and digestion and a different way to get fruits and vegetables.
No artificial sugars, no artificial flavors. It's all the real deal.
And it's just kind of like a little treat in the afternoons. I'll get a cute little cup and some ice and have my juice. So
I do want to just say I do have a small bone to pick, if I could, for everyone.
Okay.
And you guys can weigh in here. But what I've noticed is she makes the juice. And then she's like, kids, do you want some juice? And she pours them some juice. And then she's like, Mom and Dad, I'm going to send all this juice. I don't think one time you've been like, could I make you a juice? It's like if I don't like go into the fridge and physically take it, there's never a, hey, honey, would you like some of this fresh juice that
I don't think you really like it.
What do you mean? I just bragged on it and I told you that I liked it. But I'm just saying, like, I watched you get it for everybody else.
Cup for you. Listen, here's the deal. The reality of it is
I'm just trying to breathe over here.
You have breathing issues.
Yeah, and the juicing would probably help with the breathing issue. Probably.
Listen, how old are you? You're 45. If you want some damn juice, you go get it out of the refrigerator.
Yeah, but
But we know that if you don't put it in front of the kids, they will not drink it. Same with my parents, same with my dad. If I don't put it in there, you're an adult. You should be able to go get your own damn juice.
Honey, if you're going to go and we just covered this, you're about to be 49. I'm 45. If you're going to go out and cougar me, all right, then you got to occasionally take care of the young man.
Oh,
and that's all we're saying here.
Ugh.
So we're juicing. We love it.
This podcast it's about time to wrap it up.
Well, I think it's great. I think the chemistry's good. We're feeling
it. Now, the last thing.
Oh, okay.
Last thing that we have started at the beginning of the year is watching The Chosen. And I think we kind of briefly talked about this maybe on a podcast already.
We might have touched on it briefly, but
where Eric had suggested it shortly after we lost Hallie to watch it. And we watched like a couple episodes and I'm like,
neither one of us were feeling it at that time.
And so I guess it was after the first year, you're like, maybe we should try watching it again. Because we really didn't have anything to watch.
We'd finished Landman. I'm, always into my Bible and just really, again, as I mentioned earlier in the episode, I really want to try to figure out how to bring more people to Jesus. And I thought, hey, maybe this is a way that Angie and I can connect together over this. And I do enjoy watching stuff about Jesus. So I said, well, let's just try it. And again, I think like the last time, the first couple episodes, I tell people are kind of slow. They're about character development. And you really don't even meet Jesus until like the end of episode 2. So when the main character is not even in it, you're kind of like, well, is this really good or not? But now we're hooked. I mean, we're like almost season 5-ish and so good.
Yeah, we typically, our little routine, because the sauna has like an iPad in it. And so you can watch Netflix or Prime Video. So if we're going to sit in the sauna, we'll watch one episode of The Chosen or we'll crawl in bed and watch it. But I am obsessed with watching it and for a million reasons. Also, I think I'm in the headspace to watch it, but it just humanizes Jesus and the disciples. I've never watched a show that portrays Jesus that way. And there's something about seeing the characters unfold. Like I have heard all the stories of the Bible throughout my entire life, whether in the Catholic Church or at the Crossing. But when you can actually visualize the person and what they're doing and what the story actually means, it sticks. Like for the first time, we were in the Crossing last week and they were talking about the Pharisees. And I'm like, immediately, I know who the Pharisees are because of watching them in The Chosen, what they look like, what they stand for, like all of that. But when you get little bits and pieces, even reading, it's like, reading a book and then going and watching the movie. It connects it at a different level and it shows like the emotional side of faith. And there are so many stories and different things that have happened throughout watching The Chosen that just makes me freaking cry my eyes out because people are going through hardships and there's extreme grief and there's this fear and you're not in control. And you want to know why. Why does Jesus heal some people and then his disciples are going through things and he's not healing them? And that's something I live with every freaking day is the why. Why did this happen to my child? Why do I have to go through this? Why do my twins have to go through losing their older sister and then everything else that life is throwing their way? Why? There's several times in watching this that Jesus explains it. Now, do you fully understand it? No, not really, but you get the bigger picture because you can zoom out because you understand the entire story.
I think it's just really good at, like, again, as Angie said, it's helping you on Sunday morning when you are in church, put pieces together that maybe you hadn't before, makes it relevant. Even like our kids, they've seen some of it in school. Chase and Summer going to a Catholic school, and they've enjoyed when they get to watch it. And I just think it can bring you some healing depending on the part of life that you're in. And then the other thing that I would just say to anybody listening, I say this to people all the time, is most of us have a book in our house that just collects dust. And I say to my kids, anybody that listen, if you'll open your Bible, it's not going to make your day worse. It's just not. The big thing about that is that Jesus knew his Bible, obviously the Old Testament, because that's what was written at the time. He knew it front to back. He prayed all the time. So if he needed to know his Bible, if he had to pray all the time, how do we think that we can make it through this difficult life if we're not doing some of those same things? And I think the show is a great reminder of how well, obviously, Jesus knew his scripture, and he's going off to pray by himself regularly.
Yeah, it makes you reflect. It reminds me that striving isn't the freaking point. Like relationships, grace, just following Jesus is the point. It feels like it's not brain rot by binging The Chosen. It's more about like we're receiving something from watching this.
It's been really good. I really, really like it a lot. So I would encourage The Chosen to anyone who is interested in learning more about Jesus.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime Video.
They're working on season 6 right now. All right, I know that you have enjoyed this episode
so much.
So do you feel softer after this episode?
I mean, I felt like I was at the beginning.
So again, you're like, it's not a big deal that you're breathing, but I can tell as we go on, I'm not supposed to be breathing. So I think that I definitely feel just intent. I have more intentionality every day in trying to be the best version of myself. But then it goes beyond that. Now that I'm living that way, it's to figure out how to help other people try to live that way as well. So again, I'm still walking with guys. Weather's been great lately. So if you're listening and you're a guy, if you have a husband or a significant other that you would like to take a walk, I've had that happen where wives have listened. They're like, you need to go on a walk with Eric. And I'm happy to do that too. We're probably going to talk about Jesus at some point on that walk, just so you know. But I think that I'm happy with the start to the year, knock on wood. I also know that God has his own plans. And so I'm willing to roll with those punches. But can we be kind this year, God? It's been a rough few ones. So
yeah, I think having a soft year isn't about doing less. Like I said, I think it's really about doing what matters. And I think so far this year, we've done a much better job of focusing in on what matters. But I think that's also part of the healing journey, because I'm trying to get out of the fight or flight mode of like fighting against every day. Like it should be this way. It should be this way. Why? And more about like, okay, I'm learning more about you, God. I'm learning to trust. I'm learning to just be in whatever moment it is, but focusing on what truly matters. And it's not checking all the boxes and getting spun up about work or anything like that. It's like enabling us to be more fully present. It's about being the best version of ourselves for everybody around us.
So hopefully some of this resonated with you. And if you're already watching The Chosen or you have, let us know what you think about it. And again, I would encourage just if one person picks up your Bible from this episode, I would be thrilled. I would love it. And I would love to hear from you if you do that. Again, picking up your Bible will not make your day worse, okay? It just won't. So that's how I would leave you with that.
And I hope you guys enjoy our new outro.
Enjoy. Have a wonderful week, and God bless.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess. Lexi and Hal, take it away.
I'm Lexi.
And I'm Hallie.
Have a great week.
Or have the week that you deserve.
That was her.
Yeah, God bless.